The blame game begins as the U.S. and Iran debate the cause of the Saudi oil attack.
And the DOJ continues their obstruction of justice investigation. All that and more on WEBN News.
From Boston, this is WEBN News.
Hello everyone and welcome to WEBN News. I'm Angel Salcedo.
And I'm Lauren Granada. We begin with today's top stories.
Saudi and U.S. investigators have determined that Iran is most likely responsible for the attack on Saudi oil. Iran's Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif denies responsibility, but Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says otherwise.
I think it's abundantly clear, and there is an enormous consensus in the region that we know precisely who conducted these attacks was Iran.
President Trump implemented sanctions on Iran following the attack. Zarif responded by saying Iran would go to war if necessary. Pompeo assured the media, however, that the administration is looking to achieve peace.
Corey Lewandowski says President Trump did not ask him to do anything illegal. The president reportedly asked Lewandowski to narrow the scope of the Mueller investigation. This request could indicate a potential obstruction of justice. House Democrats questioned Lewandowski on his interactions with the president, but he refused to comment.
Congressman, the White House has directed I not disclose the substance of any discussions with the president or his advisors to protect executive branch confidentiality. And I recognize this is not my privilege, but I am respecting the White House's decision.
A 38-year-old man is being held without bail for allegedly breaking into a Lowell home. Hoap Han is accused of assaulting one resident and raping the other. He has pled not guilty to charges of rape, kidnapping, assault, and battery. The suspect will appear in court on September 25th.
The Yang Gang was out in full force this past weekend. Supporters of presidential candidate Andrew Yang joined him in Cambridge on Monday during his first trip to Boston. Yang was virtually unknown when he entered the race, but he has built a strong campaign centered around technology. The latest NBC national poll shows Yang in 6th place.
Thousands of protesters took to Boston's City Hall Plaza on Friday. The strike is part of a series of global protests calling for action on climate change. 800 of these organized protests took place in the U.S. Organizers say the protests were inspired by a young climate activist, Greta Thunberg.
I want you to listen to the scientists, and I want you to unite behind the science.
Changes are coming to TD Garden just in time for Bruins preseason. The arena's iconic black and yellow seats have been changed for the first time since 1995. The newly installed all-black seats will also feature extra padding. More renovations include increased capacity, a new bar, and new locker rooms for the athletes.
Now let's go to Sarah Ashmore, who has the latest on politics. Sarah.
President Trump is in a legal struggle concerning his tax returns. He is suing his accounting firm, Mazars USA, and New York District Attorney Cyrus Vance. Vance recently issued a subpoena for 8 years of Trump's tax returns for Mazars USA. The subpoenas are part of an investigation into hush money payments. Mazars has done accounting for both Trump and the Trump Organization. The lawsuit is an effort by Trump to prevent his tax returns and accounting records from being sent to a local prosecutor. A leaked White House document reveals potential gun restriction plans. The document outlines a proposal to expand background checks on firearms sales. The National Rifle Association called the plan a non-starter. The White House distanced itself from the memo once it became public. It is believed to be part of President Trump's response to increase public support for substantial gun legislation. An intelligence community official filed a formal whistleblower complaint. The complaint allegedly reports a promise that Donald Trump made to a foreign leader. The complaint was filed August 12th, but this is the first time Trump's direct involvement has been reported. Trump responded in a series of tweets saying, quote, "Is anybody dumb enough to believe that I would say something inappropriate with a foreign leader on such a potentially heavily populated call," end quote. The acting director of national intelligence, Joseph McGuire, missed the Tuesday deadline to hand over the complaint to the House Intelligence Committee. McGuire will testify before the committee in an open session on Thursday.
Thanks, Sarah. Coming up, we have the latest on the huge vaping crisis.
And Natalie Clydesdale will have an update in sports. Don't go anywhere.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Welcome back to WEBN News.
An explosion in Farmington, Maine earlier this week destroyed an office building and damaged several homes. The blast killed firefighter Captain Michael Bell and left 5 others in critical condition. Maintenance worker Larry Lord evacuated the building when he smelled propane. He and a team of firefighters were investigating the basement when it exploded. The newly finished building housed workers from LEAP, an organization dedicated to supporting people with disabilities. Investigators were on the scene Tuesday to determine the cause of the blast.
A mysterious lung disease linked to vaping is affecting teens nationwide. It's left 7 dead and 380 hospitalized. Doctors have linked the disease to various chemicals in vaping products. The long-term effects of these chemicals are still unknown. Vape companies are not required to name all of the ingredients in their products. The Cannabis Control Commission, however, endorsed a measure on Thursday that would require all ingredients to be disclosed. The commission will vote on this proposal later this month.
2 people are dead after tropical depression Imelda hit Texas earlier this week. The storm dropped a record-breaking amount of rain, with some areas seeing more than 43 inches of rainfall. The Houston Fire Department has performed more than 900 water rescues as of Friday morning. Local authorities are currently working to assess the damage.
The U.S. government filed a civil lawsuit against former CIA employee and whistleblower Edward Snowden. The suit claims that Snowden published confidential information in his memoir. It also claims Snowden gave public speeches that violated non-disclosure agreements from both the CIA and NSA. The agencies do not seek to block the memoir's publication, but instead to recover all proceeds earned.
Despite constant clashes with California's Democratic officials, President Trump still made out big in the Golden State. The Trump re-election campaign made just over $15 million over the course of a 2-day fundraising blitz. This puts President Trump at a huge advantage over other Republican candidates, raising money even in typically blue states like California.
Now let's send it over to our sports correspondent, Natalie Clydesdale.
We've got a couple of big injuries in the NFL, right, Natalie?
That's right, Angel. Several NFL teams are looking for answers following an injury-filled Week 2. The Saints, Steelers, and Panthers all lost their starting quarterbacks last week. Ben Roethlisberger left the Steelers' Week 2 game against the Seahawks with a hurt elbow. His injury requires a season-ending surgery. Mason Rudolph will replace him under center for the Steelers. The Saints lost their QB Drew Brees due to a torn ligament in his thumb. He is expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks. Backup Teddy Bridgewater gets the call for the Saints. Finally, Cam Newton re-aggravated a foot injury from the preseason. It is unclear how long he will be out. Former Texas A&M quarterback Kyle Allen is expected to start for the Panthers on Sunday against the Arizona Cardinals. Is it the end of an era in New York? New York Giants head coach Pat Shurmur announced Tuesday that rookie Daniel Jones will be the team's starting QB going forward. 2-time Super Bowl MVP Eli Manning was demoted to backup. Manning, who has started since 2004, is the Giants' all-time leader in passing yards and passing touchdowns. He told reporters Wednesday that he wasn't happy, but he'll have to make the best of it. Jones, a rookie from Duke, will get his first career start Sunday against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. From 1961 until 1983, a man simply known as Yaz patrolled left field at Fenway Park. 36 years later, it happened again. On Tuesday, Mike Yastrzemski, the grandson of legendary Red Sox left fielder Carl Yastrzemski, played left field for the San Francisco Giants in his first career game at Fenway Park. Mike received a standing ovation from the Fenway faithful. He hit a home run in his Fenway debut. Young Yaz, as some are calling him, called the experience really, really special.
Thanks, Natalie. Coming up, we have the latest on a string of scandals involving Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
And Natalie Benoit will give us an update on everything involved in the entertainment world. Don't go away.
don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Welcome back to WEBN News.
It was blackface, and that is just not right.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is apologizing for being pictured in brownface. A new video from 1991 surfaced Thursday morning showing Trudeau in racist makeup. This comes only one day after he apologized for wearing brownface at an Arabian Nights themed party in 2001. Trudeau started his reflection campaign last week and faces strong Conservative Party leader Andrew Scheer. Scheer called the 2001 photo an act of open mockery and racism. Trudeau quickly apologized for the photo, but has yet to respond to the recently released video.
Massive forest fires have left Indonesia engulfed in a thick, toxic haze. The country's national police spokesperson said that 185 people were arrested and 4 corporations are under investigation for their contributions to the fire. The Straits Times says more than 600 schools in Malaysia are closed due to air pollution that affected hundreds of students. Malaysia and Indonesia are inducing artificial rain through cloud seeding methods to aid relief efforts.
The UK Supreme Court will decide next week if British Prime Minister Boris Johnson misled the Queen by suspending Parliament. Former Prime Minister John Major and other critics say it was to push a no-deal Brexit forward. The suspension would only mean a few days to block this movement. Johnson has not ruled out suspending Parliament again if the current suspension is found unlawful.
The personal information of nearly every person in Ecuador was leaked online. More than 20 million people were affected by a massive data breach on Monday, including around 7 million minors. Those affected are now at risk for identity theft, financial fraud, and many other security threats. Authorities believe that Ecuadorian analytics company Novastrat is at fault. The company is currently under investigation.
Indonesia's parliament approved a raise in the minimum wage of marriage for women in an effort to reduce the high number of child marriages in the country. Under the previous law, women could marry as early as 16 years old. The new law, which will take effect in 3 years, raises the minimum to 19 years old with no exceptions.
Now let's send it over to Natalie Benoit with the latest in entertainment news. What do you have for us, Natalie?
14 days. That's how much time actress Felicity Huffman will spend in prison. The 56-year-old actress was sentenced last Friday in a federal court in Boston. Huffman pleaded guilty for paying thousands of dollars to have her oldest daughter's SAT scores boosted. She is the first parent sentenced in the massive college cheating scandal. Huffman will also serve 12 months of supervised release, commit 250 hours to community service, and pay a $30,000 fine. Gospel country singer Josh Turner is mourning after his tour bus drove off a cliff in Paso Robles, California. The crash left 7 injured and 1 dead from Turner's road team. Turner was not on the bus during the time of the crash. He has decided to cancel the rest of his September tour dates to take time to spend with his family and friends. The reason for the accident is currently under investigation. And Alex Trebek is still in jeopardy. Just 1 month ago, the game show host announced finishing treatment for his stage 4 pancreatic cancer, but he is now facing a setback. The longtime Jeopardy host revealed on Good Morning America that he will undergo chemotherapy. Trebek said the diagnosis has been difficult both physically and emotionally. Still, the 79-year-old TV personality is prepared to say goodbye when his time comes. Quote, "I realize there is an end in sight for me, just as there is for everyone else."
Thank you, Natalie. An American cancer survivor has become the first person to swim across the English Channel, not just once, but 4 times without stopping. It took Sarah Thomas a record-breaking 54 hours to reach the south coast of the UK. Thomas is an open water marathon swimmer from Colorado who's been waiting over 2 years for this swim. Her achievement comes just 1 year since finishing her treatment for breast cancer. Thomas celebrated her success with chocolates and champagne.
That is a great way to celebrate.
I
could go for some chocolate right now.
I wouldn't mind it at all. Well, that's all the time we have for you this time on WEBN News.
Make sure to follow us on Twitter and check out our website at WEBN.TV. I'm Lauren Granada.
And I'm Angel Salcedo. Have a great night.